Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to today's dedication for the Steve Healey track. I want to thank everybody for coming. I just want to introduce a few people. Obviously, on behalf of myself, the Board of Education, we have our president, Mr. Tumanero, here today. We have our vice president, Ms. Denise Pavone-Wilson. We have Mr. John Serpico from Ocean Gate. Dr. Corbett has joined us as well. We have Mayor Amato from Berkeley Township. We also have Ben Giovine from Congressman Andy Kim's office here. And of course, we have a lot of great alumni teachers that I see that are in the audience, but right now I want to start off the ceremony with Mr. Healey's daughter, Carrie Healey.
Thanks so much, Tommy, and thanks so much for putting this together and all of your help. I feel like the first time we reached out to you, you've been nothing but receptive and really have made this happen. So thank you so much. And I'll take some baklava to go. So I'm going to read this. My dad wrote this, so bear with me. It'll just be, a few pages and a couple of manila envelopes. This is the biggest highlight of his sports career. Nothing lasts forever, but one thing is for sure, I had a good time. All the memories and great times I'll remember for the rest of my life. Commitment and effort were two things we really stressed. Once you made the commitment, you were always remembered for your effort. I've done a lot of reflecting over the last 31 years of track and field, 1970 to 2001. I'm very proud of what we achieved, coaching staff, administrators, and parents. As coaches, we believe the sport of track and field, you would not succeed without 100% commitment. This is a physical, mental, emotional challenge every single day. Over the past years, I've tried the best that I could. There are no shortcuts to success on the track or in life. It was an honor and a privilege to be with all of you and watch you achieve amazing things both on the track and off the track. I've received plenty of awards in my life. I think these are a tribute to each player, each coach, and each administrator that I worked with, and to my family, because without them, I would have nothing. Throughout the years, I've been privileged to meet some fascinating people whom I would have never met without the opportunity I had teaching and coaching. I've been lucky to have an incredibly full life. I've completed all the things I've ever dreamed of. College football and track, teaching, coaching, family and grandkids. And here are some special mentions. Jerry Golombesky, what a great job he did rebuilding the entire program with me. Wes Zipzak, first coach and then went on to go into the administration. Bob Painter, who I know is here, coached 10 years indoor and 23 years outdoor with me. Paul Perrette, coached 25 years of track and 25 years of football, and he's such a great friend. George Steinhauser, another one who coached 25 years of track and 25 years of football with me. Our families are very close, and I can say from experience, George and Sue have been to every wedding, shower, boat party, gathering that we've ever had. Mark Howe, best all-around athlete, and then coach. Jay Thevon, great teacher, great coach, incredible family man, and so loyal. I don't know what this means, but it was included. You should have been a dentist. Mark Worthy, what an incredible athlete. Ran track and played football for me. Bob Rudder, best visit teacher ever. Coached baseball for 35 years, head coach after Al, and won all kinds of championships. He coached football with me, and we won 3 SCs, which I think is short conference. A special thank you to Dr. Gregory Halligan, my Uncle Greg and godfather, a lifelong friend. He's the head oncologist at St. Christopher's Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. Also, shout out to Dr. Christopher Schmoyer, who is at Jefferson Hospital and will be at UPenn shortly. Also, thank you to everyone at UPenn who has been doing a phenomenal job for my father. In my experience, just hearing from my dad, I'd like to give a special thank you to Johnny Whiteman and Tommy, who I worked at Berkeley Seafood with and who always stopped by the boat shack, and Carlos Hans, who I've heard nothing but great things about, and who's certainly been to our house a couple of times. To wrap it up, my father said this is an unbelievable honor. He was shocked last fall when he got the letter from Tommy and from the board saying they were going to name the track after him. He's told me a million times how much he was looking forward to this day and how much he really, really wishes he could be here. I think one of the first things he said to me is what an honor it was to be on the same field as his father-in-law and to see his name right below my grandfather's. That means an awful lot to him. And I'll leave it there. So thank you so much to everyone who came. I know this means the world to my dad.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to share a short story. Everybody always asks, why is Central Regional so special? And Central Regional is special because of teachers, coaches like Mr. Healey. I had the privilege of playing football and track for him, and I'll never forget it. I grew up poor, and Mr. Healey was always like a second dad. I know for a lot of players, he was like their first dad. And, my parents always believed in working hard in education. And I'll never forget teaching in middle school, 8 years after I graduated. Mr. Healey comes to the door, and I was kind of shocked. I'm like, hey, Mr. Healey, what's going on? And he goes, hey, congratulations. I heard you got a new VP job at Egg Harbor Township. Here's a check for $300 so you can get a new suit. So, it was just, it was shocking, and I think that's what makes the difference here at Central Regional, our teachers. They're not only great teachers, great coaches, but just great human beings. And I can't thank Mr. Healey enough. I wish him all the best, and so grateful that every time I come down here, I can see his name and smile. So Mr. Healey, thank you for everything you've done for not only me, but all the kids here at Central Regional. Thank you. I'm now going to call up Coach Mr. George Steinhauser.
As Carrie mentioned, I spent a lot of years with Steve football and with track. I promised to keep my remarks short today, but I have to tell a little story first. Steve gave me the honor of working with the pole vaulters because nobody else could handle the wild and crazy guys that it took to be a pole vaulter. So one day after practice, we go back up to the locker room and I say to Steve, I said, I've got a pole vaulter with a lot of potential, but we don't have a pole that he can use. We had a lot of poles, but you have to realize you need a specific pole for the weight and height of each pole vaulter. So we went round and round a little, can't use the broken pole, can we cut this down? We got some other, and I said, this guy can be good, we need the right pole. Steve gets on the phone, and after about 20 minutes or so, comes to me and says, hop in the truck. We start heading down Route 37 west all the way out near Cherry Hill somewhere. It might have been Maple Shade. We stop at this store. I think the owner must have kept it open late just for Steve. We go in and there's a brand new pole waiting for us that fits this pole vaulter. Steve paid for it, and I'm sure it was not with a Central Regional check. We got out and taped it on the side of the truck to the antenna and somewhere near the bumper and drove home with that, and we had a pole. And that leads me into the remarks I'd like to make about Steve. Who is Steve Healey and what does his name mean? It's not just a name on the sign on this track. It's a man whose commitment is as firm as his handshake. When he took this track job, it was never about the money or the prestige. It was about commitment and character. May those two words be synonymous with Steve Healey. Let it be known, building on these principles leads to success, as exhibited by his lengthy, successful track record, never a losing season, and finishing undefeated in his last season. His legacy is carried on by those track lives he touched, and their maturity, growth, and commitment to being great family, professional, and everyday examples of how life should be conducted. Steve is the true example of sports being a means to an end. He gave his assistants freedom and his athletes pride. He earned the respect of all his athletes and coaches in his sport. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you, Coach Steinhauser. At this time, I'd like to call up Mayor Amato, and if we could have a representative of the Healey family, either Mrs. Healey or Carrie Healey, please come on up as well.
Good evening, good afternoon. It's an honor and a privilege to be here as we honor Coach Healey. You know, I know there were a lot of good stories on Coach Healey, and I was fortunate enough to play for Coach Healey for football. And one of the things he always said to me was, Amato, you're moving at two speeds, slow and stop. Those of us who love Coach Healey, he had a lot of those sayings. And I'm not going to repeat some of them, but they were very, very good. And I know I see some former players that we played with, and I'm sure after this we'll all be laughing about all of the different things. But as I mentioned, you know, whereas Steve Healey coached the Central Regional High School track and field team from 1976 to 2001, and whereas after 26 years of successfully coaching track and field, his overall record was an astounding 188 wins and 51 losses. And whereas Coach Healey was named Coach of the Year 2 times during his impressive career, and whereas Coach Healey was inducted into the New Jersey State Coaches Hall of Fame in 2003, and whereas Coach Healey had 25 winning seasons out of 26 of coaching at Central Regional, and whereas he was inducted into the Simpson College Hall of Fame in 1985, and whereas today we are honored to be part of the naming of the track at Central Regional High School after Coach Steve Healey. Whereas in addition to coaching track and football, Steve and his wife Jackie both had distinguished teaching careers here at Central Regional High School. And whereas Coach Healey made a difference in the lives of so many of our student athletes. And now therefore I, Carmen F. Amato Jr., Mayor of Berkeley Township, on behalf of the Township Council, would like to recognize and thank Coach Healey for all of his contributions to the Central Regional School District, and further proclaim today, June 4th, 2022, as Steve Healey Day in Berkeley Township.
Thank you, Mayor Amato. At this time, I'm going to call up Mr. Ben Giovanni, District Director for Congressman Andy Kim.
Thank you, Doctor. Good to see you, Mayor, and good to see the Board of Education. It's an honor for me to be here today on behalf of Congressman Kim for this dedication, and I appreciate the opportunity to share with you the congressional record that Carrie contacted our office, and the Congressman was able to place a congressional record which was read on the House floor yesterday in honor of this day and in honor of this great occasion. So I know plenty has been said, but I just wanted to just read just at the end of the congressional record, because I think we all remember the coaches and teachers that had an impact on us, and it's just such a high honor for something like this to occur, because now the future students that will be here will also be honoring that memory through the years at Central Regional. And Steve Healey is a shining example of what makes a coach and teacher successful: the ability to inspire athletes and students to reach their fullest potential by imparting knowledge and the tools necessary to succeed. I know I speak for New Jersey's 3rd District in congratulating Steve on this incredible tribute. The newly named track and the athletes who will use it will now and forever know about Steve's incredible work ethic, competitive drive, and compassion. Congratulations, Coach, on a distinguished career, and thank you for imparting your values so we can strive to live by your example. Andy Kim.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call up former assistant, Mr. Jay Sevon.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming out on behalf of the Healey family. It was truly an honor to coach with Steve. Even though I did it for a relatively short period of time, I was fortunate enough to share a room with one of our other assistant coaches, Mr. Paul Perrette, and I got to know Steve real quick after I got here. One of his former coaches was mentioned earlier, and that's the reason I got the opportunity to coach. Mr. Zipsack had to have an operation, so he couldn't coach. So Steve came to me and said, "Hey, I need a coach. If we can do it, 3 guys will never get a 4th." So I agreed. He taught me everything I know about track, which is not very much. But it was a great 10-year tenure with him. I can't believe it's been 21 years since we coached together on this track. He was a true teacher, coach, mentor, father figure to many, and most importantly, a true family man. He's very humble. If he was here, he would say this day is not about him at all. It's about his athletes. It's about his coaches. He was truly dedicated to everything he did. One of his other assistants is going to speak, I believe, and the first time I got to meet him, I was shocked because we were at an awards banquet for the end of the season, and I didn't know anybody at the high school level who would bring in keynote speakers to a high school banquet. And Steve knew the importance of mentors and role models and what his athletes and former coaches that coached against him, could bring to his own team. I reached out to a couple people. I don't think Tommy DeBlas is here. Tommy not here, right? Tommy is probably one of the most famous mixed martial arts instructors in the world, who I had the pleasure of coaching with Steve. He frequently comes back to our school as an alumni motivational speaker. And just real briefly, what he wanted me to share was, without him in my life, there's no way I'd have the mental toughness that I have today, and that has helped me become the husband, father, teacher, and man that I am. That's from Tommy DeBlas. Just a quick story about Steve. I don't know if I taught him anything, but we are members of the same fraternity. We have twins. My twins were about 2 years old while I was coaching with them, and we were going to the Pinelands Relays. And if you're not a track person, you don't know what Pinelands Relays are. It's 42 degrees. It rains sideways every year. So I had to summon up the courage to tell him that, yes, I can go, but I can't go on the bus. He accepted that. I drove down, followed the bus. Once, I believe it was the pole vaulter that Coach Steinhauser was referring to. Once he was checked in for his event, Steve grabbed me by the shoulder and said, "Let's go." So we went. I said, "Where are we going?" Wawa. So we drove to Wawa. The kids were on the track. We're having a cup of coffee in my truck. And he said, "This is the first time I've ever done this." I said, "You never had coffee at Wawa?" He said, "No, I've never left the track meet." So I don't know if I taught him something or if I corrupted him. But he was truly a great teacher here at Central, a great coach. He was known for his Healeyisms. He had more sayings than anybody. Among his favorites that I've heard from others that I should remind you of are, "Attitude is altitude." People know that one. He stood down here numerous times speaking motivationally, shall we say, to his players. And he would point up at the building and said, "If you can't do it up there, you won't do it down here."
okay? The one thing that I'll always take with me, that he taught me, and I've been married for 27 years now, always let your wife know if there's a Friday afternoon coaches meeting at Grumpy's, even if you're already there. And his favorite, and probably my favorite as well, excuses. Don't give them, and don't take them. Congratulations to the Healey family. Great man, great honor, much deserved.
Thank you, Mr. Kevon. I don't believe Coach Howe is here yet. I know he's probably here. Oh, there you go. Okay, great. Next, I'd like to bring up Mr. Coach Howe. Coach Healey is probably the only thing that can keep me away from the track meet. I never had a dad. I never even really had a father figure until my freshman year winter track, and I met Coach Healey. I know 100% he did not know my name, because he always said, "Come on, hitter, let's go." And that's good. He never called me Belvedere, which I found out later. If he called you hitter, he didn't know your name, but he liked you. If he called you Belvedere, he wasn't real fond of you. He still didn't know your name. If you ever had a good talk with Coach Healey, you know how powerful his words are. I mean, I was reciting all of Jay's sayings as they were coming out of his mouth because we knew them. He gave a speech before every practice, before every meet. 4 years, I never heard him repeat it once. He always knew. When he blew his whistle, and everyone knows the whistle, when the whistle came, you sprinted to the eagle's nest. You didn't sprint there, me personally, I didn't sprint there out of fear for a bomb squad. I wanted to hear something amazing, and I was never disappointed. He always inspired you. When that team left that room, they were ready to go to war. They were going to give everything they had to do big stuff. By my sophomore year, as Coach would say, I bought into it. Track was life. Hold this together, Alex. I was not good at track as sophomore year, but I loved it. And then in my adolescent stupidity, I failed off the team. I did not do it up there, so I could not do it down here. And that was the beginning of my spring track season. And I was not upset for the grades. Grades are grades, I'll get by, but now I couldn't hear his speeches. So I would actually take the bus home, jump on my bike, and ride back to the Eagles Nest and stand outside while he gave his speech. Then I would watch the team, see what they did, go home, and emulate what they did at home to try and stay up. Got my grades back together, got back on the team, did not do big stuff, but at least I was back. My junior year, no, skip the senior year. No, the next year. Let's go to junior year. Junior year was my breakout year. We had the red and gold meet. I had 4 guys that were distance runners that were better than me. I was a distance runner at the time. 4 guys that were better than me. I knew I couldn't beat them. So I said, let me try hurdles. I ended up winning both races. He came over to me after I won the 100 hurdles, grabbed me in the bag, and goes, "Son, you're a hurdler now." I was like, okay. But I was way behind the 8 ball. Junior year, hurdlers, they've already been doing it for 4 years. I just started. So he threw me in his truck, he grabbed 3 hurdles, drove me home. On the way home, he's like, "These hurdles are yours for a little while. When there's no homework, you go out and you practice on these hurdles. And I want you to introduce me to your mom and Graham." He came in that night and he started talking to my mom and my Graham. And he said, he's going to do big things, but you got to stay on the right path. And my mom said, "Hey, you will. And you have all the permission in the world to do anything it takes to keep him on the right path to school." Which is what most likely happened at this next story. When I was sitting right over there, and if you guys were on his team, he didn't like when you hopped and bopped, and we were hopping and bopping at the starting line, and I got the bright idea to
give one of my teammates the finger. He grabbed my finger, and if anyone has had a Coach Healey handshake, one finger has no chance against a Healey handshake. And we finished practice, and my hand was killing me, and I went home, and I was rubbing my hand, and my mom's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Mr. Healey bent my finger back." She goes, "Well, what did you do?" I said, "I gave Gerard the finger." She smacked me in the back of the head and said, "You're lucky you didn't break it off." Yeah, that was the day. So lesson learned, don't use the finger. My senior year, this was the big one. My senior year, I was not voted captain. I was really upset about it. Ego. First race of the season, I didn't do well in the 100 hurdles. Guy beat me that wasn't supposed to. That was the only time he beat me. I beat him the rest of the year. But anyway, after it was over, I smacked the hurdle at the end of the runway, and I was all being a stupid kid, throwing a temper tantrum. He came over to me, he goes, "What is this?" I gotta get the quote right. I knew it was where it was at. Yeah. What was that? Win like you've been there. Lose with grace. Everyone's counting on you. I turned around, I'm like, I'm not even the captain. Nobody cares. He spun me around like he could, and he made me look, and everyone was looking at me. Then he spun me back. He said, "Captain is not character. Be a leader, no matter what your title." Sophomore year. This is a double whammy now. Sophomore year in college, my mom died. We didn't have cell phones, internet, all that stuff. Somehow that night, he shows up on my doorstep. He's got more food than Grandma and I could eat in a week. "Jackie made this for you guys." "Thanks, Coach." He stayed for hours that night, listening to me tell stories about her. He told me how proud my mom was. She showed me a lot that night. She showed me how to deal with someone who's going through incredible loss. Just listen, just be there. And he was. Following year, I came back as a volunteer coach. The lessons I learned, wow, never run up to the score on a team. One day you'll be that team. Win with class. Don't give them a reason to beat you the next time. Lose with grace, but don't forget how it feels to use it to win the next time. You can kiss my ass in Macy's window. Can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Never go after an official in front of your kids. You never question an official in front of your kids. But when I was a coach, he questioned a few officials. If you were an official and you wronged one of his kids, God help you. Because he came down with you at a wrath that no one could ever imagine. But he didn't do it unless he was right. This is still something I use today with my kids here on this track. I'm the man I am today because of you, Coach. I try to pass on the lessons you showed me every day to my track kids, my students, to Jake, to Emma. I hope I made you proud. Because I still look up to you today as much as that skinny little freshman who walked onto this track, the Steve Healey track, in 1984. And that, my friends, that's big stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Howard. Now I would like to call up one of Mr. Healey's former athletes, Mark Worthy.
I want to say what an honor and a privilege it is to be asked to, just to be invited to come to this dedication. I want to congratulate Steve and I'm calling him Steve, but he's Mr. Healey for me. It's been over 40 years, but I want to congratulate the family. Jackie. This is a great honor. And Mr. Healey has always been, a man of integrity, strong character. Anybody that's been around him, he's a very loyal man. He's very courageous, fearless, just honest, patient. He's very persuasive. He's a man of integrity. Had great influence in my life. And I just want to share a story. I played football for Mr. Healey. And my junior year, my sophomore year, I was running the ball. I was the man. So I come back, and my junior year, I'm not playing. I'm not getting any play. So I left. I quit. I actually quit, but he wasn't having it. I was out for 2 weeks, and he showed up at one of my classes, and he asked the teacher, I seen him, he was talking to my class. I hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. I wondered what's going on. So he said he wanted to talk to me. The teacher said, sure. He brought me out in the hallway, and I wanted to know what was going on. I told him, I said, I felt like the best athlete wasn't on the field. I shared my story with him, and he said, you come to practice today. You're going to play for me. I said, nah, man, I ain't coming to practice, man. I've been gone 2 weeks. There's no way I'm going to play. These guys have been working hard. After 2 weeks, you're not going to miss the practices. It's just not fair. He said, you be at practice. You be at practice. And I was the type of guy, from where I come from, you didn't talk to me like that. But he said, you be at practice. And he walked away. And I was sitting there thinking about it. So I yelled, I don't know, maybe 25 yards away. I yelled. I said, Mr. Healey, I'm not sitting the bench. He turned at me and he pointed his finger. He said, you be there. And he walked away. So I said, okay. So I went there, and that was one of the best choices that I made. He wasn't having it. Quitting wasn't an option. He said, winners never quit, quitters never win. So I played for him, and it wasn't all about, the lessons that I learned being coached by Mr. Healey. I got to watch him. Over 40 years, I've had a relationship with Mr. Healey, and I still call him Mr. Healey. He said I can call him Steve, but the ultimate respect, Mr. Healey, the impact that he had on my life. I've been in business for over 35 years, HVAC, and he's hired me. I've done all his rental properties. Up until now, I've done his houses. I think that was just so he could keep an eye on me, keep me close. Just very supportive, encouraged me. So, one of the main things I got out of watching him was how he treated his wife and how he talked about his children, how much he loved his children. Just a father. I'm married. I'm married. It'll be 40 years this year. We have all of our children. They're married, and 11 grandkids. And I just watch him. He's just a man of men. You listen to all the accolades people are giving him. That's the main thing I got from him. It's just watching him learn how to do life. And as a result of Mr. Healey, I'm winning. Just as he wasn't having quitting wasn't an option. And I just want to, encourage him to just, I got the, like I said, he's a man of courage and fortitude, resilient. He's a fighter, and he taught me how to fight. And as a result of that, we're winning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Worthy, and congratulations to the whole Worthy family as his brother is being inducted into the West Point Hall of Fame as well. So, good job to the Worthy family. Now I'd like to call up another former athlete, Luigi Valenti.
I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. Everybody pretty much hit all the points that I'm trying to make, and obviously we know what type of person Mr. Healey, Coach Healey is. For some of you that don't know the history between Mr. Healey and I, I started working in Seaside Heights at the age of 14. I worked for a gentleman named Malcolm Friedel in a parking lot. Louise's parking lot is full. Malcolm Friedel always asked me, he says, you know Steve Healey over at Central? He's a gym teacher. I said, no, I'm just coming in. I'm a freshman. I don't know him. The following year, he asked me again, did you meet him? I said, nope, I haven't met him yet. And then it was my junior year. I got to meet him in the flesh. He was my gym teacher, and we shared some stories of when he was working at the same place that I was working at, and how him and Malcolm used to park the cars up on the dunes by where now the Aztec is. And from that point forward, that year, or that summer, I started working for Mr. Healey, and at the boats, and eventually at the marina. And I'm sure some of the coaches know, once an employee, always an employee of his. Through those years of working with him at the boat shack and at the marina, I learned a lot from Mr. Healey. Just listening to the stories from what the coaches were talking about, to just some of our conversations. I got to see a lot of life lessons, trials and tribulations. I learned a lot from Mr. Healey during that time. And just like the one coach said, it kind of makes me the person that I am now, today. And the things that I've learned, I kind of pass on to my kids. And those little things make a difference, as you can probably see with all his daughters, the accomplishments that all his daughters have done. And his son. He always pushed everybody, and he always wanted the best out of everybody, and he still does. So, I think with this dedication, it's absolutely wonderful that they're doing this. In about short 9 years, my son, all my kids will be here, and it kind of comes full circle for me. And they'll know the history behind it, even having Mr. Healey's father's name up there. I think it's a lot of history, like Mr. P said. This is history. So, Coach, congratulations. Good job. Keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, the Board of Education, all of the alumni, all the students, we just want to thank you, Mr. Healey. I want to thank the Healey family. We love you, and wish you nothing but the best at this time. Carrie, do you have anything else to say? No?
Let's get a picture and wrap it up.
Okay, we're going to get a picture, and then we'll have refreshments for everybody here. Thank you, and congratulations, Coach Healey. Thank you.